So what he's going to do is he's going to go and he's going to talk to her, say, hey, how you doing? I like you, let's talk, and he'll talk, and then he'll say, this is what I would like to do, and all this stuff. And what's going to be really interesting is the conversation might not even go towards him wanting to have sex, because maybe he's talking to her and both of their conversations are really good, so he's enjoying it too. Because when you have a productive conversation, then productive conversations actually is just an equation of different things that's real. And as these equations, as they start to talking and putting these equations together, then you have products, and these products are really good. It's not going to be any feelings involved in intellectual conversation. It's not going to be there. But you can still release your hormones and all of that stuff so you can enjoy the conversation. Enjoying the conversation is with the feelings and all that stuff. But within this equation, there are no feelings. You have to release the feelings yourself if you really want to enjoy it. And the reason I mean by enjoying it is because if you're just having a conversation and your body isn't being stimulated by those hormones, then you're not going to really enjoy it physically. Now you might have a mental enjoyment and whatever chemicals that might, secrete in your mind and make your brain tingle. Sometimes it does happen to me. It happens to everyone else, I'm sure. Then that's possible. But what's going on in the world basically is this here. This is what's going on in the world. It doesn't matter if it's religion, your leaders, police, everything. Okay, so let's give a situation about a police situation. So I saw this video of this cop, this real cop, he's really overweight. Another cop, he was kind of buff, and they were sitting on this one black kid. He was laying down. His left arm was on. He was laying on his left side, so his left arm was in front. The cop that was overweight, he was standing up, and he had the baton. And he's hitting this kid on the leg, and he's telling the guy, "Put your arm behind your back." But he's hitting him. Okay, logically speaking, is this: you can't. If you hit someone, it's going to be hard for them to do what you say. Okay, and even though he said, "Put your arm behind your back," one thing is he moved the right arm, and if the cop is thinking like because he doesn't know really what to do, because actually his partner is on top of the guy, so actually he has nothing to do. So he's sitting there thinking, well, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So he started imagining things, and all of a sudden some said, okay, well just take your baton out and hit the guy because he's resisting, because he's not putting his arm behind his back. So he takes his baton out and he hit the guy. But they're both telling this guy to put his hands behind his back, but he can't, because in order for him to put his left hand behind his back, he needs space between his left side of his body and the ground to move his arm behind. But the cop, that's the one that's on top of him, is not giving him that chance to do that. And then when he tries to do it, he has to move his foot, he has to adjust himself, and he has to lift himself up. And if he's doing that, and while these cops are steadily screaming, "Put your arms behind your back, put your arms behind your back," and he's doing that, then while he's moving, they're going to say he's resisting, so then they're going to go at him harder. And I'm thinking to myself, what are these cops thinking about? What are these cops doing? Okay, because he can't move his arm through the ground. It's impossible. So what's going on in those two guys' minds is that they're imagining all kinds of stuff. They're not putting their equations together. They're imagining things, and because they're imagining these things, and they don't really know what they're doing in the first place, they're releasing their hormones because of all of this excitement. So basically what they're doing is they're just reacting to their hormones, and then their imagination here is always changing, constantly changing and changing and changing. So then the cop that was overweight, because he couldn't actually bend down because he was too big, because that probably would hurt his back, he put his baton away, or his nightstick, whatever it's called, and then he take out his handcuffs, put it on the guy, put the arm back down, take it back out because the guy isn't putting his arm under his back or behind his back, and hit him again. And I'm thinking, like, these cops right here are evidently not trained. Okay, definitely not trained in physics and anything about whatever, because there's no way that the guy is on the ground is going to be able to lift the guy that's on top of him off of him, and he cannot follow a command by the officers for the fact that the officers are constantly on top of him. So he's too heavy. So the guy is too heavy, so he can't do it. And the other guy is hitting him while he's moving his feet, trying to adjust his body so he can put his hands behind his back. So you got two people there totally confused, not knowing what to do, and all they're doing is just reacting off of their hormones, because once the adrenaline releases, it's going to move your body, and they're just panicking, basically. So right there, I'm thinking like, them guys need to get off the streets. Whoever their boss is need to get fired. They need to get fired, and maybe, or never carry a gun, or get off the streets, period, or whatever. And they need to go get some training. And all the way up the chain, they need some training, because when you're in a position where you got somebody on the ground and they're not armed, okay, and you're on top of them and you beating them, every time he's trying to put his arm behind his back because he got to shift his body, and you call that a resistance, then, you know, you got to look at 1 and 1, look at 2 and 2. Everyone else sees, well, how can you do that? But then, you know, their boss is going to say, well, you know, he this and that, and they're going to make some excuse, but the logical excuse is those cops were incompetent, and that's it. And if the police and their groups and everything say that those cops were doing their job, then those people are incompetent too, and they all need to be removed, and they need to get people in there who know what they're doing. But let's put that aside, because that really doesn't even matter, because whatever happened shouldn't have happened in the first place. You need to understand that your imagination is causing most of your problem. If you're not doing things by the equations, then you're doing it by imaginations, and that's where you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Okay, so you have to stop this. Everything in life is an equation. The chairs, TV, electricity, the way the blood goes to your body, the food you eat, your job, everything. You don't do anything that you do physically. You're not doing it based on some imagination. Well, okay, I'm gonna imagine myself go to work, and you're gonna imagine yourself going to work. You're not gonna get there, okay? And that's what you're doing in your life. So in these black neighborhoods, like gangbangers too, they'll see another rival gang. They're gonna see them, and all they're gonna do is imagine some crazy stuff that's going to justify them releasing their hormones, and then because their hormones are released, and they're going to get that one feeling that feels real good about, yeah, you know, I'm feeling good, you know, and what I'm imagining, yeah, that's true. It got to be true because I'm feeling good, and they're not understanding that the emotions have a job to do, and the job that's making you feel good means it's the endorphins, definitely the endorphins making you feel good, because there's something that's being released that's going in your body that's harming you. So, in other words, for you not to get hurt and feel that pain, it flows. But people aren't thinking like that. They're not thinking like that. So then they'll go off and harm some other guy for absolutely no reason. Okay, a guy looks at my girl, and he's staring and smiling. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to go over there and hit him? You know, the only thing I can go over there and do is say, yo, brother, you know, you're imagining something, and you're releasing your adrenaline, and these two are not connected, so you need to stop, because what's going to happen is you're going to keep doing this, and you're going to keep doing this, and you're going to make an error based off an imagination. So, bro, stop. There's the equation. If that's my girl and you really like her, then you want to talk to her, then fine. Go ahead and talk to her, because I don't mind people talking to my girls, because I understand that the women, you know, they're going to do it too. You know, they're going to look at guys, and guys are going to look at girls. But all I do know is that when you get married and when you're dating, that it takes constant work every day, because everyone changes. And so that's why these people get these new marriages and they get divorced real quick, because they are basing it off of an imagination. And then once that imagination goes, then these feelings are gone. They say, well, okay, well, I don't have any feelings because I don't have any imagination, so I don't have any feelings. So this isn't real. But it isn't real, because that's what they're doing. But they're thinking it's this, but this is what they're doing. Now, if they got together and they understood that, okay, well, we got to work, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to have a kid, we got to do this, we have sex. Okay, like sometimes when I was dating, girls are like, oh, I want to have sex. And I'm asking, why? Why do you want to have sex with me? and they can't give me an answer, and bam, there it is. I'm telling them to give me an equation, they can't. So then I'm not going to say, well, okay, well, I'm not going to allow you to get your emotions and feelings off on me just because of this. No. So I've always said no. So when I first came to Japan, I had 2,000 women come up to me, and within 2 years, give me their numbers, talking about they want to go out with me, and I knew what they wanted, you know, because at that time I was huge, muscular, dressed nice, and everything. So of course I knew what they were attracting. You know, when a woman looks at a guy, how long does it take before she realizes she knows what she's going to do it or not? Couple it instantly. So I knew that this is what it was, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this because I know this is fake, and I'm not going to do it. So you know, so when some women they ask, and I'm like, why? And they get upset. Okay, and then that's why I really hadn't had too many problems in my life. So every problem that you have with your wife, with your kids, with your schools, everything, you're either doing this or you're doing this. If you're having problems, you're doing this, and you need to stop, because this right here is going to get you hurt. This right here is going to, this here is what made guys, hundreds of millions of guys, go to war and kill each other. For what? For what? Because there is no reason for war. There's no reason for fighting. There's no reason for anything. Because they said, okay, I got to go to work so I can eat. Okay, so you go to work to go buy some food that you could have got a seed, put it in the ground, and it would grow forever if you keep putting the seeds in the ground. Okay, because there's not that many foods you really need to eat. They got a bunch of superfoods, chia seeds, and potatoes and stuff like that, you know, and you know, oils and stuff that are in the nuts and things, because you need that for the, I think, for the vitamin D. They're saying black people are vitamin D sufficient, but I mean deficient, but that's not true. Our bones are thicker, so we don't need that much. So we got black skin, so we don't get so much vitamin D, because it will hurt you. And they're coming out with that study right now, so you guys go look on that. You'll find out a lot of these guys, a lot of those doctors, they'll test white people and then make everyone else, make the test for everyone else are based around that, and it's not true. So you go to war, you fight, you do this, you that, and when it's all over, what's going on? Now I can understand if it's all about people want to create a what is it called? Chaos. Then if that's what they want to do, fine. But everyone doesn't have to participate in it. So like I said, you go to work to go buy some clothes. Okay? Okay, you can make your clothes. Okay? You go to work so you can go watch a movie or do whatever, and all the stuff that you're doing with your money. You know? And you just, basically this is all you're doing, because a lot of people don't really want to go to work and do what? Now, if you go to work and because you understand what you're doing and all of that stuff in this equation, because at the end of every equation there's a product, there's a real image and real object, then I can understand, because you'll be able to enjoy your finished product because you already have the equation, and the equation is just the components to put that together. And then when it's finished, then you can do this. And then that's where your vocabulary, adjective, adverbs, and nouns. Adjectives, adverbs are nothing but feelings. Adjective is just a description, and a noun is just an object, some type of an object, and that's it. And so when you're doing this, that's basically what you're doing. You're going through life and you're like, oh, you know, I'm feeling good about this and about what, you know, or this and that. Oops, I gotta go. I'm out. But anyway, that's about it. You guys, please chill out.